How about that cigar?
How about that cigar, man?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Drew Estate Cigar Studios for episode 161 of How About That Cigar Live. Guys, thank you so much for joining us live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and for those of you watching or listening after the fact on the audio podcast, thank you so much for listening when you drive down the road, work out, whatever it is you do when you listen to your favorite audio podcast. Thank you so much for making How About That Cigar a part of it. And we are here in the Drew Estate Cigar Studios, and let's remind you about the finally revealed mystery cigar, and that is the all-new Nica Rustica Adobe, the second expression in Drew Estate's value-priced Nica Rustica line. The Nica Rustica brand is Drew Estate's homage and tribute to Esteli, Nicaragua. The Nica Rustica Adobe will be available in a 6x52 Toro, a 5x54 Robusto, and a 6x60 Gordo, all presented in 25-count boxes, while retaining many of the same characteristics as the Connecticut broadleaf expression. Nica Rustica Adobe is the spicier version using a Habano wrapper, Brazilian binder, and Nicaraguan filler tobaccos from Esteli and Jalapa. Unpolished and unrefined, Nica Rustica Adobe is a medium to full-bodied cigar that offers loads of spice with a bold and very long finish. The perfect companion for adventurous cigar buffs. Nica Rustica Adobe will be available for regular distribution to all retailers beginning in August of this year. For more info, please visit drewestate.com. So for those of you guys watching live on Facebook and YouTube, and maybe even after the fact, Garrett, you're looking more handsome than ever.
Thank you, man.
I mean, yeah, I mean the look, the way you talk, it's just you've really like taken great strides and improved yourself.
Man, I went to Mexico with Raul, that's intense. I went to the beach, so I got a little darker,
Yeah.
Out of Minnesota here, man.
I love it. Well, we're very excited. We're gonna bring in that's fake Garrett, and this is real Garrett.
Man, a guy leaves for a couple weeks.
I know. Yeah. So it's been a couple of weeks since we had a show. We took off for Memorial Day, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But we were very excited when we found out that Henderson Ventura from Ad Ventura Cigars, welcome to the studio.
Thank you, man.
So we were excited when we found out you were going to be in town. So we said, let's just have him as a guest and just, we've got our guests coming on in a few minutes, but have an in-studio guy to help out with the show and just hang out and chill and smoke cigars.
Man, first time in the States. It's not going to be the last. I have a blast with you guys. I feel great, with the treat that you guys giving me here. So have a good time.
Yeah, we love having you here, man. Love having you here. So like we always do, we are going to talk a little bit about some of our favorite sports teams. So I don't know who watched the Twins game yesterday, but it was a fantastic, fun game to watch. They had some amazing plays. I mean, it was basically a home run derby back and forth between the Blue Jays and the Twins.
It was a fun game.
And
I only watched the highlights, but
even so, I mean, we have a lot of injuries. So even some of the backup players were making the backup shortstop, and I'm sorry, I don't remember his name, made the sickest pickup and little chuck to second, then for a double play. It was fantastic. So even the backup players are doing it, and I love that. And for those of us still following the hockey world, the Stanley Cup playoffs are still well underway. As we speak, it's possible that Colorado could punch their ticket to the finals. So they're
shocked.
They're in game 4 right now. Yeah, I'm not shocked. Colorado is just incredible. So
how's your hockey knowledge?
Hockey,
Henderson.
Oh yeah, how's your hockey knowledge?
Oh man, I'm a professional.
Are you?
Yeah.
So who's your team? Who do you got going to the final?
I don't know nothing about
it. The Detroit Green Sabers.
Yes.
Yeah, the Detroit Green Sabers.
Baseball, I know a little bit more.
Yeah.
I know you guys have a tough time with Vladimir Guerrero on the other side.
Yeah.
Yes.
This guy is killing it.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, and we had Big Papi.
Yeah, we had him for just long enough for him to get his talents refined and then go to Boston. Yeah, so that's okay. That's what we do. We train people up and then we ship them off to another team.
Best farm league in the
majors. Yeah, love it. And the Rangers leads the series 2-1 over the Lightning. Their next game is tomorrow, I believe. Good sports stuff going on right now. Football players are starting to do some workouts and get ready for NFL season. I mean, it's super early, but they're starting to do some workouts. So let's jump right into our main segment of the evening. And as always, special guests on How About That Cigar Live are brought to you by Corona Cigar Company. Corona Cigar Company and coronacigar.com, the internet's largest and easiest to use virtual cigar store. Corona Cigar Company offers you the finest handmade cigars, humidors, and cigar accessories at the absolute lowest possible price. You'll also find unique and limited cigars containing Florida sun-grown tobacco. As a proud American, president and founder of Corona Cigar Company, Jeff Borshowitz believed it was possible to bring cigar tobacco farming back to Florida. At Corona Cigar Company and coronacigar.com, you'll find the best selection anywhere in the world of cigars containing this special Florida sun-grown tobacco. If you live in Florida or are just visiting, be sure to visit any of the great Corona Cigar locations in downtown Orlando, Sand Lake, Lake Mary, and also the Davidoff of Geneva Lounge in Tampa. For more info on all of that, please visit coronacigar.com and floridasungrown.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you would please join us in putting your hands together and welcoming to episode 161 of How About That Cigar Live from El Oso Fumar Takes, Bear Duplisea.
Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening. It's splendid to spend a Monday evening with you all, and two things. One, y'all thought David Ortiz was done, so that's more on you than
100%.
Yes.
And the second thing, I absolutely agree in the most heterosexual way possible. Garrett, you look incredibly handsome now. So whatever you did, yes. And your Spanish classes are paying off, my friend. The accent is authentic. It's fantastic.
You got to solve it.
Yeah,
got to solve it.
Well, and I also before we jump into talking to Bear, I also want to give a shout out to and I don't even know if we can show him on the studio camera or not, but we for the first time, I think ever on How About That Cigar Live, we have like
a studio
audience. So we got Raul from Sodi's and Omar from Ramsey Smoke Shop here in the Twin Cities area. You can hear them shouting in the background. Guys, thanks for hanging out while we're doing the show. We had some dinner earlier and just kind of hung out and smoking cigars, having a good time here in Minnesota. The weather is like perfect.
It really is.
We're really blessed right now to have the most primo weather, and then 2 weeks from now it's going to snow, and then it's all over.
Yeah, I feel bad for Henderson because he's getting the best of what Minnesota offers right now.
Yeah, it
won't be. I guarantee the next time you come to Minnesota, it won't be anywhere near this.
No. I mean,
it's almost like I got the consolation prize. I got to be honest. Like, you made dinner. You made dinner. You had over guests. Like, and we're also gonna have Bear on the show. It's like
I came for the dinner, man. Seriously.
Yeah,
that was my point to be here.
Next time, Bear, we have you come to Minnesota for your next appearance on How About That Cigar Live.
Or
we come to Texas.
If we just need to find a cool place to do it. It's like 97 degrees outside, so therefore it's like 90 degrees here in my garage. So
I'm saying we'll come to Texas in like February.
Good call. Yeah, good call. There's 1 week in February though that it gets to like Minnesota weather though. It's like -6 here. We do that once a year, mid-February. So just
feel just like home.
Yeah, exactly. Just skip that week and then it'll be in the 80s. It'll be fine.
Well, I feel bad for Garrett because Garrett, we're all smoking cigars and Garrett's not smoking a cigar yet.
Yeah.
So I think it's time for Garrett.
Neither am I. So that's fine. It's fine, Garrett. You're good.
Well, we're gonna have Garrett fire up his fine hand rolled cigar via the Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust Toast Cam. When lighting your cigar, it is important to be patient Pay close attention to detail and focus on the tobacco. In the same way, Steve Saka brings those same qualities to the ultra premium cigars of Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. Patience, close attention, and focus on the tobacco are the qualities that Saka and Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust have become known for. From Sober Mesa to Umbagog, Dunbarton has a blend that will fit your palate, your mood, or any occasion. Visit DunbartonCigars.com to learn more. All right, so Garrett's all fired up now.
Yes.
Bear, you said you don't have a cigar going. Are you planning on lighting up a cigar and enjoying one along with us?
I want to try. I've been recovering from some double pneumonia, and I had a cigar last night. So, but I'm gonna attempt another one. So I'm not drinking anything other than water though. So,
Okay.
But yeah, I got some selections here. I feel bad with Raul and Omar there. I should have known that I was going to be stepping into hostile waters because I did bring the Crux Bull and Bear. So that seems inappropriate at this point with those two gentlemen in the studio audience.
Love it.
I've got a well-aged Atabey, courtesy of Oliver Nouveau from a few years ago. This is actually aged a few years. This is from November of 2017. You can see my date on there.
Very nice.
And that's also another well-aged gem, Alec and Bradley Mundial. I love this cigar.
That's a good blend.
Broke my heart when they decided that when the people decided that they didn't like it, which is just horse shit. All right, and then I've got a couple other cigars here made by our awesome guest host, the new and improved Garrett Robinson. That's the last time I want to do that, Henderson, I promise. The Long Live the King, Mad Mofo, which I just think gets better and better every time I smoke it.
Mm-hmm.
I was in my top 10 a couple years ago, and then of course the former #1 cigar of the year from my for myself, the La Barba Ricochet Crew Mexi Sol Gran Robusto.
Nice.
So
yeah.
So
Beautiful selection.
Well, Henderson, I would honor me if you would pick my cigar for me.
Ooh.
I will go for the Mad Muffin, man.
All right. Fantastic.
Excellent choice.
That's one of my favorites.
I love it. I dig it.
Do you know that was the name of the blend? You know, that's how I named the blend when I made it.
Oh,
I think you told me that. I think we talked about that. Yeah, it's
really.
Yeah. I don't call my blends like a number 1, number 2. I put names.
I haven't had that Mad Mofo in a while. It's been like a year or so since I've had one. I know I have some in the lower half of my humidor's aging section, so I know I have some down there. I have to my humidor is such a mess. I mean, if you guys in watching could see my garage, it's pretty messy, and these guys can attest to it. But I wish I could like be organized in my humidor and also organized in my garage. But right now everything's just like all over the place. One of these days I will get organized.
When you get mad, grab the cigar.
Yeah. So one of the things that we talked about before we after we had the show scheduled for tonight and we knew Bear was going to be our guest on the show, we know that because we've talked to Bear a few times on the show. Bear was actually our first live guest.
Yes, he was
on How About That Cigar Live back in, I want to say,
how about that fun fact?
April of 2019.
Yep,
somewhere in there. So he was our first live guest back when we were still using Google Hangouts live on air, which went away immediately the following week, I believe. We have come to know over the years that Bear is a historian. He calls himself an amateur historian, but I would call him semi-professional.
Yeah, 100%.
Historian. He's got a great affinity for the great events that have shaped our world and our culture and things like that. And today happens to be the anniversary of D-Day, the Normandy invasion, World War II, 1944. And obviously one of the most impactful events in history, really. If you look at today's date back to the beginning of time, D-Day really does. There were so many incredible people that served with bravery that I can't even imagine. And so one of the things we wanted to do a little bit tonight on the show was talk about some of the the key events of D-Day, maybe some little known facts and things like that, and sort of some of the meaningful parts of D-Day. So I have a few things pulled up, Bear, but if you have a few items that you wanted to start us off with about D-Day, I give you the floor.
Well, again, thank you for that. Thank you for those humbling words, Matt. I do still consider myself an amateur historian. I appreciate that. I think the thing about history that I've always really had an affinity for, and it's kind of grown over the years as I've become an adult, is that it's a reflection of not only our past, but it's also a reflection of our time and the perspective that we hold within it. And then it's also a peek into the future, because as the saying goes, history repeats itself. So you have to kind of look at things through an interesting lens, so to speak. But there are a couple of fun facts about D-Day that I think is really great. Again, it's commonly referred to as D-Day, June 6, 1944. But if it weren't for the good old, we were talking about this earlier, the good old fashioned calamity of weather, we would be celebrating June 5th, or even technically June 4th. It was supposed to be in the late hours of June 4th. They put it off into June 5th, and it became even more clear that they weren't going to be able to launch the offensive until June 6th. And again, a lot of people refer to it as D-Day, but that wasn't what the operation was called. The operation was called Operation Overlord.
Yeah.
Which is just like, something like straight, right to the
like a video game.
Right through. Oh, well, I was going to say, to your heart, Matt, it's like straight from Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
Operation Overlord. And I mean, here's the really cool thing about, a lot of people, and the Americans, the American forces certainly took a brunt of the fighting. They certainly took a brunt of the casualties and everything, but this was a massive joint effort of the Allied forces. You had of course, the United States, you had the United Kingdom, you had Canada, you had France, you had Australia, Czechoslovakia, Poland, Belgium, the Netherlands, Norway, New Zealand, and yes, our friends over in Greece were all part of the collective Allied effort. And on the other side of the line was the Third Reich, also known as Germany. So, cool fun facts to start us off with. But yeah, we can go over wherever you want to go from here. We can talk about whatever you want. It's a very important day in history, as you mentioned. So,
yeah. Well, specifically, one of the things, as I started doing some research, because I don't know nearly as much about it as I would want to, but as I was doing research, you can get only so much from movies and documentaries and books, but to read articles that have firsthand accounts from the men and women who were there, specifically there was one battalion that was the A Company, 1st Battalion, 116th Infantry, took 60% casualties in the first 20 minutes of battle. I mean, I can't even wrap my brain around that. It's so devastating. Yet the 40% that were left didn't turn around and run off. They kept marching forward.
Well, you'd be the survivor.
Yeah,
it's you. You're out of the group here. You'd be it.
Yeah.
Garrett and me, and Henderson's probably wounded. Garrett and I would die.
Mm-hmm.
Henderson's probably wounded. You're the only one that's you're the only one that's upright at that point. I mean, not I'm trying to be a little funny, but
no,
but that's crazy, right? I mean, it's unbelievable that, I mean, just what a concept, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And what were some of the I mean, because these guys had to, it's, I mean, specifically if we're focusing on, because there were a lot of different angles to it. You know, you had the ships that were trying to, you know, get mortar fire up, you know, and up to, you know, take out some of the German positions, but they had to wait until the guys who were landing on the landing craft got to a certain point before they could start, you know, sending fire up towards the Germans. So the casualty rates were incredible. And at the same time, there was paratroopers. There were they had Allied makeshift hospitals from multiple points, you know, and run by, like you said, people from, it wasn't just Americans, people from multiple countries. The UN was involved with, you know, getting, I think if I remember right, correct me if I'm wrong, Bear, weren't the landing craft, weren't those piloted by UN sailors?
That's correct. Yeah, that's
Okay.
correct. Mm-hmm.
I'm curious, Henderson, what was your understanding of history? Obviously, World War II was a, you know, at least in basic format in, you know, some primary and, you know, school here in the United States. In the Dominican, what did you learn about World War II?
Not much, man. You know, we talked about the dates, you know, countries involved in the war. But that I remember, I don't have much from World Wars. I have more from my own, you know.
Right.
You
Yep.
know, after I was like a history aficionado, you know, so I was like starting different, you know, different part of the story, from both sizes, you know.
Sure.
What was the real things going on there, you know. I have the opportunity to visit like some of the bankers and stuff in Berlin, you know, and
Yep.
still they have the ruins there, you know. But they don't show much, man. Like I was
Yeah.
expecting to see more about it, you know, on the machine. But everything that they have there in the machine is more like a propaganda of the Jewish, you know, history and survivors there, you know, but not much about what was like the position of Germany in the war. So, I mean, I think it's one of the most horrible war, you know, that happens in history.
Yeah.
And if you get to the point why, you know, is like
Yeah.
would make a little bit sad, you know, about
Yeah.
that history. Why, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's a sad fact. South Africa, they actually glorify Hitler in school, and they teach a very twisted narrative of World War II, and it's a very popular name for children between the 70s and 90s.
You mean to this day they do this in their
To the
school?
90s.
No, to the 90s. No, it's pre-anti-apartheid.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
Okay.
So
understood.
pre-anti-apartheid. Yeah, no, it's no. I mean, no. Garrett's right. The culture pre, Mandela taking, being released in the end of apartheid in South Africa was, there's no other way. It was like a Klan rally. I
Right.
mean, like that. It was just. I mean, it's insanely bizarre. Like we could totally digress on the history of South Africa,
We could.
but it's insanely bizarre on the continent of Africa, which was where Africans and Black people have come from.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of the ancestors that Henderson and his neighbors and everything, even from the Dominican, come from as well. But on the continent of Africa, there's a country still to this day, which has a massive white population, and for decades belittled, controlled, and made Jim Crow laws in this country look like a Sunday school lesson.
Yep.
And it was unbelievable, the atrocities that happened in South Africa. And yeah, what they taught, I mean, it's an interesting fun fact you brought up, Garrett. The twists of history and what's taught and everything in schoolrooms. But to Henderson's point, the significance of World War II, right? So again, we talk about the twisted ends of history and everything like that. But I mean, the Dominican and Haiti, the island, where Henderson calls home, didn't play a significant role in World War II. Yet it was still a significant part of world history that it was still taught in school.
Do you know what happened? Do you know what's happened at that date in the Dominican Republic? So we have the dictator Trujillo by that time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Dominican Republic, Trujillo was a guy that was positioned as president in the Dominican Republic after the invasion from the United States. So that was like one of Americans guys there.
Oh, really? He was placed there by the Americans?
Yeah, and then he become a dictator, you know?
Yeah, we've never done that before.
So this guy
Yeah.
So this guy he said that he gonna send some Dominican troops to fight against Germany. And Hitler just took a piece of paper and he was like, "Where's Dominican Republic?" There. And he just put the cross on the map, and I'm done already with that.
Wow.
So that was part of the World War II in the Dominican Republic.
Wow.
That's crazy. Because correct me if I'm wrong here, Henderson, y'all still celebrate y'all's Independence Day on February 27th?
Yes.
But that goes back to
1844.
Yeah, 1844. When I guess you guys there was the split from Haiti, and there's actually the two countries.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah,
we kind of recovered the country from Haiti because we have a Haitian invasion by that time.
Okay.
So
I think Justin already put it up on screen, but I have to laugh again at Mark's comment. I know Jose Blanco was blending and rolling cigars for the Allied High Command.
It's true. It's true. It's 100% true.
I love that.
They come from that time, huh?
He was
George Patton, man. George Patton.
Already in his early 30s by then, I think Jose was. So Bear, did you know about the connection with the Allied invasion on June 6, 1944, and famous author of Catcher in the Rye, J.D. Salinger?
You gonna have to refresh my memory. I as soon as you start talking about it, I'll know the significance of it. Oh crap. Yes, I've heard of it, but I won't take any credit after you tell what it is, and I agree about it. So
really, and this was just from me finding this on one of the sites that was put together by the men who were there. Salinger was actually one of the soldiers in the second wave, and he had some of the pre-written chapters of the not yet published Catcher in the Rye in his fatigues with him.
Oh.
Amongst his other, his diary and his Bible and whatever else he might have carried with him. He had some of the first couple chapters written that he carried with him.
Crazy.
That's right. No, so that was Utah Beach. He went up on Utah. So he wasn't on the first wave of Omaha Beach, but yeah, it was like he went into Utah, which was there was less. I mean, plenty of people died on Utah Beach. Don't get me wrong, but Omaha was the unfortunately the death pit and stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a chance where J.D. Salinger is a person we've never heard of. I'm going to talk about some interesting twists in history later on. I've got a couple stored away. But it's crazy how we're talking about Operation Overlord, D-Day, right? This entire event is not even discussed today. It doesn't even happen.
Yeah.
If an Englishman takes a shot, a wide open a wide open shot at a young Adolf Hitler in World War I, who's totally exposed out of the bunker. It was just him and a single Englishman. And I mean, there was no ceasefire. I mean, they were still at war. And for whatever reason, the Englishman didn't take a shot at Hitler.
Yeah.
It's crazy, right?
It is.
This never happens. This never happens. The Holocaust doesn't happen. D-Day doesn't happen. George Patton is probably a significant general in American history, but nowhere near the legacy of Dwight Eisenhower is never elected president.
Right. Right.
Well, and we can play the what if game all day long, but who would be in the wings if Hitler wasn't in that spot? There was a handful of other high profile SS officers that I'm sure would have wreaked as much, if not more, havoc. Playing the what if game.
It's possible. I mean, because some of the people who ended up being his confidants, whether you're talking about Goering or Bormann,
right.
I mean, they were with him from early on. Some of them were, and some of them were, I don't even remember the name of the one who was Bear. Who do you remember who early on before the official formation of the Nazi Party, when Hitler was first starting to gain some traction and some followers, there was somebody who came along who started to bankroll things for him. And I don't remember the name of who that person was, but they ended up staying along Hitler's side for many, many years.
I mean, his wealth and his wealth and income came a lot, unfortunately, from all of the conquests and obviously of the destruction of the entire Jewish people, along with other minorities and stuff. But the person, it's I know the name's on the tip of my tongue. It's initials too. We're talking about J.D. Salinger. Obviously, that's not it. But it's like I.G. Farben. I think that's right. I think that's right. Yeah, he was an industrialist who just like many people of his time was just taken over by Hitler's charm and nationalistic attitude. Germany would have been in some kind of chaos. Like, it would have been some kind of nationalistic, socialism, communism, something would have taken over because that country was just in such disarray after the peace accords after World War I. It was just the city was that country was just a mess. And I mean, it was ripe for something for like this to happen, because it was just, they were waiting for a later,
Yeah.
No, real quick, not to get off topic at all, but I don't think we mentioned what we're smoking.
Oh yeah, let's do it quick,
because I'm having a real.
So I pulled this box out of my humidor, and fortunately I had just enough left in the box for everybody. So this is Henderson's blend that was made for the Great Smoke and for Secreto Cigar Bar, and this is the Secreta.
Sociedad Secreta.
Yeah, Sociedad Secreta.
Sociedad Secreta. So people don't know much about that cigar, but that's a cigar that Ronnie Heisha and me were working for a few years. And that's a combination of the Navigator blend with the King's Gold blend.
That's the first time I'm hearing that.
Yeah. Now you know.
Now you know.
I love that.
How about that cigar, man?
How about that cigar?
So
shout out to Ronnie for introducing me to the Queen's Pearls for the first time. So that cigar made my top 10 list because it's fantastic. But
I smoked one this morning.
Shout out to Ronnie.
That was my first cigar this morning.
It's a morning cigar, man.
It's
it's a perfect coffee cigar.
Gosh, it's my favorite cigar with coffee.
So this cigar right here, is a medium body, but there's the combination of tobacco that we're using here, to make that sophisticated blend, the aroma, the flavor, the complexity, the balance of that blend, it just make the cigar in a perfect spot for a medium body, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We're using a Connecticut broadleaf as binder over the with the San Andres wrapper, that creates some nice sweetness, like some kind of cocoa sweetness, and the retrohale, that cigar is just a bomb of flavor,
Yeah, the retrohale on this cigar is no joke.
It is. I tried
depth.
a little, and now I'm done. I can't retro from this point on because it will tear me up from the floor up.
I did plenty cigar for me, and for the gray smoke. I've been smoking a ton of those cigars because it's a cigar that you can smoke it. That's when you create a cigar that have a great balance, a blend. That's what happened. You smoke the cigar, and like I'm smoking the cigar right now, is go halfway. I'm already like looking at the box, like if you have some more, like to keep smoking that cigar.
Yeah.
The creaminess. And that like a hint of spice, like a very mellow in the back, it just make like a great experience with that smoke.
Well, and shout out to Ronnie. Hope you get better, brother. Hope you get better soon, brother, and you heal up. He had surgery almost a week ago.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was about a week ago.
Yep, on his knee.
He's getting better, man.
Oh yeah, he's a fighter.
He's a little beast.
A little beast.
I love it,
beast, man. That's my boy.
Well, the last point I wanted to go over for myself, and Bear, if you have more, I would love to hear them. But one of the things about the Operation Overlord was there was a lot of espionage going on surrounding the preparations for it, and the British did a lot of the preparations and the planning of it. But there were also some double agents who hid information and made Germany think that it was going to be in one place, and it ended up being another in different times and places, things like that. But as things went on, and after the heavy casualties that the Allied forces took early on, and then they were able to start taking over positions and gaining more and more ground, the Germans realized that they were in bad shape and they needed reinforcements. But some of the soldiers reported and wrote in their memoirs later that at the time that they went to go talk to Hitler about the situation and get consultation for reinforcements, Hitler was asleep and they were all too afraid to wake him. And that's one of the things that actually delayed the Germans sending in reinforcements, which made it even easier for once the Allies gained enough position for them to basically push back even the possibility of reinforcements in that area. So yeah, Hitler was asleep and they were too afraid to ask. So they just waited until he woke up.
So I went to college with a guy from the UK, and he was older, but he said one of the things that frustrates me is in talking with people from the United States about World War II is, he said, the arrogance. He prefaced it by saying, I am grateful and thankful for the amazing sacrifice and the United States and Canada and other countries finally coming to the war effort. But when talking to Americans, especially, the arrogance that they have for World War II being their war to win, he said, is really disheartening, when for years we stood by and watched our city be bombed, and the turmoil that they went through was just a really unique perspective that I don't think we get to hear very often or think about. That they endured a lot for years before we even came into the war.
And we tend to think of things the way we have them presented to us, whether it's the history books that we read or the history professors that teach it to us, the movies we watch, TV shows, documentaries. Things are presented in a certain light, and that's unless we seek outside of that, that's the only way we get
absolutely. Yep, no doubt.
And yeah, it is true that especially in Europe,
right?
Because obviously Pearl Harbor happened. That was a thing. That was U.S. soil.
Yes,
right.
Yet at the same time, most of Europe felt directly the shooting, the bombing, the killing in their own houses, in their own streets.
Yep.
To a greater degree than the United States did.
Right.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, for a majority of America, the war never. I mean, metaphorically speaking, the war came to the front yards of American neighborhoods. With telegrams and chaplains, delivering sad news of brothers and sons, husbands and fathers dying. But that pales in comparison to what Garrett was talking about, which is, the fragmentation of for centuries, the center of the civilized world.
Yeah.
My sister is a brilliant art historian, and she's a registrar at the Whitney. She also worked at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York as well. So shout out to my sister and everything. But the Monuments Men is a great story about the tragedy of not just the tragedy of loss in other than life. We talk about the great works of art, great buildings that were centuries old and just destroyed to nothing. And these were people's home. These were people's homes. These were people's backyards. These were people's communities. These were people's churches. It hit different. It hit different.
Sure.
Isolationism is a really bitter topic.
Yeah.
For both world wars, right? It's like, okay, because fast forward decades, right? And here we are, how many times do we hear about, Americans entering in conflicts around the world, and they're like, that's not our war. That's not our fight. But it's like, where's the balance? Where's the argument for and against and everything? So
yeah.
It's interesting how it took 2 world wars for American ideology to shift into this. I don't think, at least in our lifetime, I don't think we're ever going to witness America ever standing by again in an isolationist state, at least to the extent of calling it isolationism.
Yeah, that's true. So before we jump into another topic, Bear, is there anything else that you wanted to share about this event?
Well, you mentioned the espionage that was going on. This is the really, really cool part of the history of D-Day.
Yeah.
So you'd mentioned about the counterintelligence that was going on. So I've mentioned George S. Patton several times tonight. Big cigar lover, great iconic general in World War II history, and he had garnered so much respect from the Third Reich and its generals, including their Patton, which was Erwin Rommel, that they absolutely, you were talking about arrogance a second ago, Garrett, they absolutely believed wholeheartedly that an invasion of Europe would not occur without George Patton leading the charge. So this was a really brilliant move by the Allied forces, much to the chagrin of General Patton himself, who had to sit it out. But Operation Quicksilver was an entire 6-division fake army that was, led by Patton. I'm making the quote fingers for people listening later. Led by Patton, and the landing point was supposed to be in Calais, which was further north than Normandy.
Yeah.
And even with the weather, and like you mentioned, Hitler taking a nap and all this stuff, it's just crazy. And even, 3 days after D-Day had occurred, the German forces would not reinforce Normandy because they believed the bigger attack was still yet to come. They thought it was a diversion. 10,000 Allied deaths, and they thought that was a diversion. It took till July 21st. A lot of people don't realize it took till July 21st to actually fully take Normandy, not the beach, but to take Normandy itself.
Oh, I didn't know it was 3 weeks.
Yeah, it took 3 weeks.
No, sorry, that's more.
A little bit longer. Yeah,
like
yeah, a little
7
bit longer.
weeks, 8 weeks.
Yeah,
that's wow. Holy crap! I had no idea.
I didn't either.
I was in my head. I was thinking
after the beach falls.
I was thinking like 2 weeks, maybe tops.
Yeah.
Wow, that's July 25th,
21st.
Unreal, man. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, it wouldn't have made it impossible. I mean, there was so much respect for Patton. They just believed that he was going to be the one to lead the charge, and he had a great part in the defeat of the Germans overall. When he was brought back into operation and everything. But yeah, there's 5 sectors. Normandy, everyone knows about. Omaha, most people know about Utah, but there were 3 other beaches. Anyone want to name them?
All 3 beaches? How many?
The 3 there. So there were 5 total. Omaha and Utah are the most popular the ones that people know, but there are 3 other ones.
These guys over in the peanut gallery said Habano, Maduro, and Connecticut.
It's close. I mean, you could paint metaphors across that. So
yeah.
Kansas.
So I guess your Connecticut beach would be the Gold Beach. Gold is one of them.
Okay, Gold Beach. That's
so.
One.
Maduro would probably be the sword, the power, right?
Yeah.
Sword.
And Habano, I don't know. I'm not going to try to invent a metaphor for the last beach.
What was the name of the last beach?
Juno.
Juno. Yeah. So Juno, sword, Gold, Omaha, and Utah.
Yeah, it was such a big day in history, and there's a lot of great content out there about it. If you're a movie buff, there's a lot of great movies. If you're a documentary buff, there's a lot of great documentaries. If you're a reader, there have to be at this point tens of thousands of books written about it by historians and by people who were actually there. So we just recommend that you guys look into it and learn as much as you can about it, because
history is important.
History is important, and events like this are they're really generational events that if not for I don't remember who, there was some famous coach at one point that said luck is the confluence of preparation and opportunity, and you have to have a little bit of luck or providence, or call it whatever you want, on your side in an event like this, because certain little details within this massive event, if they hadn't gone the way they did, all would have fallen apart.
Yep. So
the preparation and the sacrifice mixed with some of that providence that just put everything into place, that's really why most of us are here today. So we're grateful
Indeed.
for everything that happened that day. And even the sacrifice, it sounds strange to say we're grateful for the sacrifice, but there is a somber sort of gratefulness that comes along with it. And we echo that with everybody out there who's remembering what happened today. So a drink to those who passed, and
salute.
So we had talked a little bit about, and I'm sorry, Bear, I don't recall exactly. There was somebody's cigar show, and I don't remember if it was yours or Coop's or Dojo's. Somebody did a segment within the last few years, maybe more than once, where they took classic movies and tried to recast them with people from the cigar industry. And I thought that was hilarious, and I loved it. But I wanted to kind of simplify things a little bit tonight and take just two classic movies, at least movies that I consider to be classics that are completely different movies, by the way, that we're going to go through tonight.
I was gonna say, are we staying on theme, or like we're gonna do like Dumb and Dumber or something? Like,
no, there are two movies, and each one of them are completely different, not only in genre but also in the time frame that they came out.
Okay.
And we're not gonna go with cigar industry people, where I went out online and did some picking and choosing of some, movies from long ago that, if they were to be remade today, who are some of the current really popular actors in Hollywood who may take over these roles?
Oh yeah, this is my jam. Oh hell yeah, let's do it.
The first movie is one that is pretty weird, but it's sort of a nostalgia movie for me because I was a big fan of the comic books when I was a kid. And when the movie came out, it was unfortunately a little disappointing. You can look back at it now and say that it's campy and hilarious, but as a film, it's shit.
Green Lantern?
That is Flash Gordon.
Okay.
So
Flash Gordon.
Up on the screen here, we have these are what I consider to be the three really main characters of the movie.
Talking about 1980 Flash Gordon, by the way.
You're talking about 1980 Flash Gordon. So. Okay. You've got Flash Gordon, the original, played by Sam Jones, and then you've got Ming the Merciless, played by the legendary Max von Sydow, and then you've got Dale Arden, played by the beautiful Melody Anderson. So I looked at these characters and at these roles and said, okay, today, let's say, because of as well as I do, if somebody's going to remake this movie, it's probably going to be Disney. Which it in a way kind of sounds sad, but they've in the different universes, whether you're talking Star Wars or Marvel or whatever, they have done a pretty good job at putting out content in the last number of years. So here are my three picks, and Bear, I want you to pick out of these three I'm going to put on screen. Okay. If Flash Gordon was going to be remade today, here are the three picks I'm going to give you to choose from for the role of Flash Gordon. So we have Chris Hemsworth, Channing Tatum, and Michael B. Jordan. Out of those three, who are you going to pick to play the iconic role of Flash Gordon?
Oh God, there's so much commentary here, right? So first of all, great picks. I actually had two of these. I didn't know how you were, what direction we were going to go with this statement. By the way, I know it's not going to be in the discussion, but I just wanted for Prince Volton, where I would just Wayne Knight would just be Prince Volton. I'm just saying.
Oh, Prince Wayne Knight.
So let's go with your theory that Disney would remake Flash Gordon. Okay. So that means in the controlled IP universe, even though they're not necessarily mixed in terms of Marvel, that removes Michael B. Jordan and that removes Hemsworth, right? So you automatically have to put in Channing Tatum, which is the unsexy, quick, fast answer that that Hollywood kind of creates and makes at that point. But
you're bringing logic into this.
Yeah, I know. And then the other thing too is one of the more popular things too. Which I this isn't a social comment. It's a social comment, but it's not. It doesn't have any negative connotation because for me, at least personally, because I like that films are being remade with different perspectives, and so like remaking different things with all black cast or all Latino cast or the Oceans. I was a big Oceans fan. The Ocean's 8 thing, a lot of people whiffed on that. I thought that was fantastic. Doing the all women ensemble. I thought that was fantastic.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
It's really good. Sandra Bullock's incredible. I mean, the cast is outstanding in that.
I'm in love with Sandra Bullock.
And you haven't seen it? Oh my God, man, she's incredible in it. The premise is really, really bad. It's campy, like you said. It's bad, but she's terrific, and it's really well done. So I'm kind of stalling here. So the answer, the Michael B. Jordan would be the 2022 answer.
Yeah.
But I do like the unsexy logical pick of Channing Tatum. I think he's
I do too.
I think he's the only one in that group that really has has that potential to be, to kind of take Flash Gordon to a different direction. I know a lot of people don't think that he's very talented. I happen to think he is. I think he's just a different. I just don't think he's.
I think he's very talented.
Yeah, he's not.
And my wife is absolutely in love with him.
He's not Denzel. He's not Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Right. He's not Daniel Day-Lewis. All right. So he's not. But there's a lot of talent there. I think he would be a great Flash Gordon. So I'm gonna go with my original answer, Channing Tatum.
All right. So for the role of Ming the Merciless, now Max von Sydow.
Oh God, I hope you had fun with this one. I was so excited about this.
I had fun with it. The Max von Sydow, for those who don't know, he passed away within the last few years. He was one of the best actors of all time. He could play a villain.
Anything.
He played such an incredible villain. And so as I looked at this movie, I looked for people who have experience playing villains, but also have experience with comedy, because there is that campy element to it. Mm-hmm. So the picks that I have for you to choose from for Ming the Merciless are Ken Watanabe, Kenneth Choi. Can you put that? There we go. Kenneth Choi and Ralph Fiennes. So for those who don't know, Ken Watanabe has tons of experience. He was in Batman. He was in The Last Samurai. He was in. I'm missing 100 things he's been in.
Inception.
Inception. Yeah. He is one of my favorite actors. He is so intense in his delivery. I absolutely love to watch him on the screen. Kenneth Choi has been in Sons of Anarchy and Wolf of Wall Street, and I know I'm missing a bunch of other stuff.
Everything. Like he's in 911 now on Fox.
Yeah,
like he's like great character actor for the ages.
Fiennes, I put Ralph Fiennes in there because he has range like Max von Sydow had. He has range for comedy. He has range for playing. I mean, obviously villains. He was Voldemort, for God's sake. So he's got experience with that. So
did you just say his name?
Oh, I just said his name.
Dang it!
Out of these three actors, Bear, which one are you going to choose for the recasting of the new version of Flash Gordon?
Man,
dude, I love this, man. I love this, man.
Yeah.
This was great
I'm
picks.
just complaining right now.
Oh, Henderson's got a complaint.
No,
okay.
It's Ronnie Hayes on.
Oh, Ronnie's in the comments, and he's blowing the comments up. We don't have to put all Ronnie's comments on the screen. I'm just saying, there's no law says we got to put Ronnie's comments on the screen.
Hey, man,
we were giving him praise earlier. What is he complaining?
I just hear advertisements.
He's just trolling us.
Shut up.
Oh.
He's also blowing up my phone.
We love you, Ronnie. We got a show to do, Ronnie. We love you, but we got a show to do.
And this isn't a Henderson show. Henderson just happens to be in town,
Henderson
hanging out.
Yeah, this is a Bear Duplisea show. Henderson's in town visiting with us, and we were like, hey, come hang out with us tonight while we do the show.
I was telling the guys, I came to for you guys. Ronnie have a broken eggplant right now. So. Man, I hope that you recover soon, man.
He's on some serious pain meds right now.
Yeah. Get the bag of frozen peas, or I don't know, whatever. So sorry. All right, let's go. Let's reel it back in. Okay. So to recast Ming the Merciless for the remake of Flash Gordon, which one of these do you choose, Bear?
Oh God, there's two incredible actors right here. I mean, they're all three incredible actors. I'm with you 100%, Matt. Like the intensity of Ken Watanabe is I think is unparalleled. It's interesting how he can play that. He has that range with very similar delivery. And that's not a knock against him. It's just he has a very distinct intensity, as you mentioned, but he can deliver it with incredible range. Because like in Inception, he's half good guy, half bad guy.
Yeah.
Last Samurai, he's the good guy. Batman Begins, he's the bad guy. So it's It's really interesting. Ray Fiennes could be an incredible bad guy.
Mhm.
I'm going wild card here because I don't think Kenneth Choi has ever really had the opportunity to really shine. And I don't think I've ever really seen him as like, he had a bit in Street Kings with Keanu Reeves where he was a bad guy for, I don't know, the first, like the
Oh,
opening
yeah,
scene
that's
of
right.
15 minutes,
Yeah.
which was probably his worst acting ever, which is terrible. Don't go watch it. Don't go watch the scene because it doesn't do Kenneth Choi justice. He's a fantastic actor. I'd love to see Kenneth Choi. It's a great pick. It's a great wild card pick. Love it.
Nice.
I'm so if I can just step outside of those three.
Yeah.
The first name that popped into my head.
Don't say
Donnie
Samuel L.
Yen.
Jackson.
Donnie Yen.
I'm not familiar with Donnie Yen.
Ip Man.
I've never seen it.
Wow. Bear, anything?
Donnie, I mean, I've seen him in a few things. Like, I'm not the. I think he would be okay.
He's always been the good guy.
Okay.
It's true.
And I love the juxtaposition of him playing Ming.
Okay. That could be good. Plus, it's sort of comedy action.
Absolutely
Mix.
He can be both hilarious and I don't know. Okay, sorry. Didn't mean to derail, but I think Donnie Yen would also be a
All right. So for the final part in this movie, the role of Dale Arden is it's really one of the early examples of the damsel in distress also taking on the warrior princess role, where she's kind of a badass too. And Melody Anderson played it great. And so these are the three modern day actresses that I chose for you to pick from to be recast in the remake of Flash Gordon playing the role of Dale Arden. First, we have Margot Robbie. And then we have Ana de Armas. And then we have Alexandra Daddario.
Her eyes. I could get lost in those eyes.
Out of those three to play the role of Dale Arden, Bear, which one are you going to choose?
Margot Robbie is like the obvious choice. I think like Alexandra Daddario is like one of the, like, I think she's kind of on the rise a little bit. I mean, for the most part, I mean, she's it's terrible. Like some of her most iconic films that she's been in are like the remake of Baywatch.
Yeah.
You know, the Percy Jackson Chronicles, the Texas Chainsaw. She did a Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like, it's just, you know, she's in a TV series called The Girlfriend Experience and stuff. Like she's the girl that I want her to see her emerge from these, like, just role. Like she's just the face, right? Because I think there's a little Banff in her, man. So she's Ana de Armas is a really good choice too. I really, you know, that's the 2022 pick, right? And she's
got great, she's really young and she's got really good range. I mean, she was in War Dogs, she was in Knives Out, she's one of the new Bond girls.
Love her in Knives Out. Holy
she's
fuck,
really good.
She's so good. That's so good. And you know, I mean, she dated Ben Affleck for a while, you know.
Oh, did she? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
Henderson's got something that's like.
I'm just surprised where you guys find like all those old movies, man. Like
we're old,
man.
Well, no. So Henderson, you don't understand the fraud that you are sitting in the middle of. So Garrett and Matt play this con, the long con of playing it off that they're old and they're really not. Like, you know, Matt supposedly turned 50 last year, which is like fucking horseshit. Still haven't seen the driver's license. And you know, Garrett, you know, like, I'm pretty sure he uses the reverse just for men and puts the gray in his beard.
Wow.
So like they say they were smoking in the Boom when they were like just in, you know, they were in middle school like me. So like, you know, it's quite comical. Like I want if it is true, I want it when I turn 50. I want to look like Matt because like it's
100%.
insane. It's insane.
You shave, you look like a 18 years old guy, man. Like,
Oh, dude,
Yes.
no, I'll never shave. It'll
like
never
how old are
happen.
you, man? Like you,
I'm 39.
Yeah, you got a baby face too, I bet, under that beard.
I wouldn't know. I haven't shaved since I was like 13. So I've been clean. I was clean shaven a couple of times in high school, but for the most part, I like had, facial. I've had facial hair of some kind almost in a permanent state since I was 13 years old.
I think it's just not proper, like those old movies, like for you guys' age.
No,
I love film, man.
We're old.
I love film.
So
Fucking great.
So Bear, who is your pick for
Daddario.
Daddario? Okay.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's
Now it's
so Justin, go back to the first Flash Gordon picture. Daddario looks a lot like Melody Anderson. I mean, there's really a lot of similarities. They've got, big eyes. Eyes is what I was. Eyes. They have.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I think there's a lot of similarities. So all right, next movie. Field of Dreams.
Oh, like, oh, dude. Oh.
Field of Dreams. So
you're gonna do this. You're gonna do this to me.
Field of Dreams is too new to do a remake of. Well, Field of Dreams came out.
Don't say it.
33 years ago.
Don't say it.
33 years ago, yeah.
Field of Dreams came out.
Miguel Chodell and I did a 30th anniversary 3 years ago on my show.
All right, so
That's
the three I picked the three top roles from this movie, and that is obviously Ray Kinsella, played by Kevin Costner, Terrence Mann, played by James Earl Jones, and
my God,
Shoeless Joe Jackson, played by the recently deceased Ray Liotta. May he rest in peace. So for the role of Ray Kinsella, made iconic by Kevin Costner, here are the three picks I have for you to choose from. Josh Lucas, who ironically plays young Kevin Costner in the Yellowstone series.
It's true.
Paul Rudd and Michael Fassbender. So of those three, who are you going to pick to recast as Ray Kinsella in the new Field of Dreams remake?
I know he plays the young Kevin Costner, but I'm punting Josh Lucas as far as I can get him. Nothing against him. This is sacred ground for me. This is my favorite film of all time.
Yeah.
This is my favorite film
That's
of
why
all
I
time,
picked it.
and it's. I mean, this is almost sacrilegious to think about recasting it or doing a remake. But for me, but I mean,
this was very hard to pick just three modern age actors to remake this movie. It was very difficult for me to narrow it down to three.
Yeah,
So.
I just every time I think of Paul Rudd, I just think of Sex Panther, and it's just Jesus, like fuck,
60%
of the time it works every time.
Every time.
It smells like pure gasoline. Smells like Bigfoot's dick. Oh man. It's got. I think with all joking aside, I think Rudd could handle it because it's this weird kind of funny role. Kinsella plays this ex-hippie that he's kind of grown up and everything like that, and and it's so I think Hollywood chooses Rudd, but I want the best to take on that role, so I'm going to take Fassbender.
Yeah, and he has, again, he has tons of range. He can, I think he could honestly, not to, no pun intended, knock that role out of the park. I really do. He really could do it. Okay, so next,
not Pauly Shore.
No.
Okay.
All right,
No.
Next role. One of my favorite on-screen roles that any actor has ever played is
Yes.
Terrence Mann, played by the great James Earl Jones. Obviously played just fantastically in the movie. So here are the 3 picks for the recasting of the remake. You have Forrest Whitaker, Denzel Washington, and Tyler Perry.
This is the easiest choice in the world. It's Denzel Washington.
Yes.
You have to.
Yeah.
There's, with all respect to those two, and I'm a big Forrest Whitaker fan too.
Huge Forrest Whitaker fan.
Field of Dreams is my favorite film of all time. My favorite actor of all time is Denzel. So it's Denzel. If someone's gonna replace, in my opinion, one of the greatest characters in film, in modern film, post 1960s. It's got to be, in my opinion, one of the greatest actors of this era, which is Denzel. So it's gonna be Denzel.
Chad, I am way too old to play Shoeless Joe. In the Field of Dreams universe, Shoeless Joe was a young man. I'm way too old to play Shoeless Joe. All right. So speaking of Shoeless Joe, originally played, like we mentioned, by Ray Liotta. Here are the 3 picks you get to choose from to play Shoeless Joe in the new remake: Miles Teller, Ryan Gosling, or Zac Efron.
Okay, first foremost, are any of them left-handed?
I don't know.
That is that's a really good point, because
the biggest faux pas in the whole movie, is not.
Yeah.
The biggest faux pas in the movie Field of Dreams is that Ray Liotta, who never played baseball, by the way, and learned. So props to him. But he's right-handed. So that was a big there's a big miss.
Yep.
By Hollywood. But to that being said, Ray Liotta, I actually made a small tribute to him when he passed away last week.
That was good shit, man.
Thank you. His character really taught me that it's as funny as it is, that the dreams can come true. It doesn't matter how long and how hard, how long it takes. You can find it. So, I'm giving, okay. So Miles Teller, Ryan Gosling, and then what's the third one? I'm sorry.
Zac Efron. And I just thought of another one that I should have put on the list because he has baseball movie experience, and that's Chris Pratt.
I was just going to say Chris Pratt would be my.
And Chris, if I'm not mistaken, Chris Pratt is not actually a lefty, but he played a lefty in Moneyball.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
We'll throw that in as a 4th bonus.
Well, I'm punting Zac Efron.
Okay.
Him and Lucas can, they can be in the next galaxy together. Miles Teller is, it's kind of like the insert here, just because he's a fabulous actor.
Sorry, real quick. Shoeless Joe Jackson threw right, batted left.
Batted left. That's correct.
Okay. But in the movie, he was batting right.
And Hatterberg correctly, and Pratt plays Hatterberg, who threw right and batted left as well. So same concept. So I know Pratt's kind of the obvious choice. I think Pratt's a little too goofy for Shoeless Joe. So Shoeless Joe was, first of all, Shoeless Joe was in real life was very deadpan, and he was very he was ignorant.
Yeah. Very shy because of his ignorance.
Very shy because of his ignorance. Let it all out on the field. There's a fabulous book called 8 Men Out. That also became a film too, where you can actually learn a little bit more about the real Shoeless Joe and the type of character that he actually was in real life. I think Ray Liotta did a fine job of bringing that character to life, but I think in reality, I think Ryan Gosling could probably play him.
Yeah,
play the real Shoeless Joe a lot better.
Agree.
So
because Gosling's got some history of playing that sort of deadpan shy, aloof sort of character.
Well, with this vibrant confidence that comes out at key points, like he's very quiet in Gangster Squad, but he's very confident.
Yeah.
He has that I don't know. I think Ryan Gosling would do that role justice, man. This was tough, man. Good picks though. Good picks.
Oh yeah, we'll do this again. This was fun.
People will come, Ray.
They will come.
People will most definitely come. Oh, gives you chills every time I think about it.
The last thing, and we're going to go back to cigars here, and this is really just kind of a question about the overall expectations. What are your because we're really close to it now. So what are your expectations overall for how things are going to be at this year's 2022 PCA trade show? Because last year was, it was different, obviously, put together in a very short timeline. This year's trade show's been in the planning stages for, one would hope a year or so. So what are your overall expectations?
To what context? I mean, are we talking about
bigger, smaller, attendance, vibe? Whether if it's going to be, if things are going to be amped up and ramped up, so to speak, versus last year, that kind of thing.
Well, I think contextually speaking, it will still feel very small for anyone who attended 2019 or before trade shows. It'll still feel small, right? 2021 was a smaller trade show. Those I think it was really it was a really great vibe.
Yeah,
everyone wanted to be there. If you want to look at it in a microcosm, it's interesting, and I'm not just saying this because he's here, but it's interesting that Henderson's sitting with us today, because the Sutliff Tobacco booth, which had all these fantastic brands that get distributed by them, was a microcosm of what that trade show was. Like, that booth was vibrant. It was vibrant. Everyone was having a good time. The energy was really great. You didn't need loud, obnoxious music to do it. It wasn't fake. It was just like the vibe was just really great. Sorry. So like, this is my big, like, I'm totally outing myself here. Like, this is my biggest beef with the cigar industry. I don't understand the need for loud music, like, at every cigar event. Like, I don't understand. I'm like, man, cigars are about conversation and stuff like that. I don't understand the need for loud music, but to each their own. What are you gonna do?
I think it's part of the culture of some of the people that are there.
Exactly, right, and that just makes me the asshole, right, for saying that. No, and I respect that. That's why I would never dare say, hey, turn the music down. I'm not that big of an asshole. I'm just like, I don't.
Yeah. I know some that did.
I mean, the trade show is gonna be what it is, for forever.
Yeah.
Now you have some of the big companies that pull up saying, the biggest.
Yeah.
And you can notice that like big time, because the space that they used to take on the trade show floor.
Mm-hmm.
But you always gonna see like new faces, new brands showing up. The retailers, they switch. 1 year you have some that they not show off in the show. You have some that gonna be there. Is I think it's part of the culture already.
Mm-hmm.
And people want to hang out. People want to see the deals, the new product that coming out every year.
Yeah.
You're part of the culture of the cigars in the United States already. I think you're gonna have some slower year, and then you're gonna have some years that are gonna pump again. So
yeah,
I agree. I think to Henderson's point, in years past, I mean, think about this from from a media perspective, right? We covered the trade show. I mean, Garrett, you were never a part of the trade shows that I was referring to with the larger footprint.
Yep.
But Matt, I mean, how and this, I say this as respectfully as possible because they gave us great time, they gave us great insight, and they gave us great information.
Yeah.
But the big four would eat up a day because it would
at
take
least.
2 hours to go through each of those booths, and then you miss out on meeting someone like Henderson, right, who has such an extraordinary story to tell, right? And there's amazing people. There's amazing people like him, right? And so without that larger footprint, we don't have to make that choice.
I mean,
Right.
We don't have to make that sacrifice. And same thing from the retailer's perspective too. They don't have to like, oh, I need to go do my general order.
Right.
But I really want to check. I've heard great things about this Henderson guy, but I really need to go, I need to go do my general order. I'll just catch Henderson next time. Well, now he doesn't have to make that choice. They don't have to make that choice. They can go see Henderson now.
Timely things, you have the traditional company that always been there, that's what people recognize. And I will say me as a brand owner, I think is my third year. The first year with the brand, I wasn't there. I participated last year with the Aventura. I mean, with the time, more people were gonna recognize Aventura cigars, but it's not like they not passed by Aventura because it's not. I don't have an interesting story to tell. You just not much people know me.
Yeah.
It's just now that I'm coming out, into the American market and showing my brand. I think you need to put the job together. You need to work for.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we're excited for it one way or another, and obviously interested to see what it looks like and feels like compared to last year. And man, it's like I said, it's the days are ticking by, man. It's going to be here before we know it. So
yeah,
definitely.
It's a month away.
That's right.
For me, it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
I'm like the new guy in the industry. I'm excited. I have a long way to go. I have a lot of new things coming. We have new product to show. I have a lot of people that I need to meet still.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that I don't know there. I want to meet those people. And get to hang out with the people that I already know.
Yeah.
Is I've been like I've been in the trade show since 2011.
Right.
I've been participating in the show since I was 21 years old.
Yeah.
So, but as a brand sports show, it's just been 2 years now. So
yeah,
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be
a good year.
It's gonna be
awesome.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fantastic. I think it is. I think it's going to. The PCA exclusives are gaining traction like they haven't been before. I really think the PCA is going to make improvements. I've really appreciated in recent years, and particularly last year, the transparency like never before.
Yeah.
They admitted to screwing up in areas where they screwed up. They admitted in opportunities. They brought in 3 incredibly new fresh voices and fresh faces onto the board, including Jay Davis, who just made a comment. And I really do think that it's going to be I think it's going to be a fantastic year, and I think call it naivete, call it over over optimism, but I think PCA is going to be good going forward. I think it's going to be
that's
changed.
the people that we need there. That's the people that we're looking for. That we're looking forward to see there. Like people like Jay. I think Jay is being one of the old guys in the industry on the retail side that always been supporting. The new companies coming up, and I think everyone have a piece of the cake, and it's because people like Jay,
Yeah.
always showing love, to the new talent and new
and even media. Like Jay is on so many show when I chime into other podcasts and whatever. Jay is in so many of those.
Jay's always out there watching.
Jay's one of my biggest supporters.
He pays very close attention to what's going on out there, and he's always in the comments on from as far as I can tell, everybody's shows, because we watch pretty much everybody else's cigar shows because we're freaking nerds, but we love it. And Jay's always in the mix.
In Jay we trust.
In Jay we trust. So Garrett,
that was the guy that should be sitting there, Jay, because he was participating in every.
Yeah.
Well, here's a question for the Peanut Gallery. So we're talking about attendance too, right? Which is always like the big
oh yeah
thing we talk about. Well, let's ask the Peanut Gallery: is Sodi's and and Ramsey Smoke Shop going to be represented at PCA this year?
Yeah. So he's asking you guys, hey Raul and Omar, is Sodi's and Ramsey Smoke Shop's going to represent at the PCA trade show this year? Yes and yes.
Both.
Fantastic.
Yes, absolutely. So it's it's an important event. It's a family reunion. More like, I mean, so many people have said over the years that you go there to, retailers go there to buy cigars and cigar manufacturers go there to sell cigars, but there's more to it than that. It's networking. It's a family reunion. It's conversations. It's relationships and education. Yeah, Raul says education. So 100%. And there's so much more to it than just buying and selling. That's why I believe, and still do, and will preach it from the mountaintops forever, that it's an important event to be a part of. And any event, whether it's PCA trade show, which I believe is a very important event, but anytime we're able to get together as an industry, we should put every effort in to make it happen.
Yep.
Man, you have, after the pandemic, you have more cigar aficionados than ever.
Right.
And always that you have people that are passionate about cigar, they're gonna be trying to get involved with the cigar industry and with the cigar culture, So this is the moment.
That's right.
Trade shows, events,
Yep.
That's right. So Garrett, I have a question for you. Is it time?
Oh, it is time.
It is now time for this week's Numero de los Muertos. And as always, Numero de los Muertos is brought to us by our friends at Smoke Inn. All right, Numero de los Muertos, episode 161. Garrett, what do you have for us this week?
Well, this week I have 240,000 of these die here.
Every year?
Mm-hmm.
Here being Minnesota, being America.
That's where we got to go.
Oh, so we have to pick the location
and
the cause
and the what.
All right. As always, viewers, if you guys have guesses, leave them in the comments. We are going to try to guess 240,000 people a year.
Nope.
No.
240,000 of these die here.
Oh, of these.
Mm-hmm.
These die here.
Mm-hmm.
So these are not people?
These are not people.
Are they animals?
Yes.
Okay. Here, so is here Minnesota, or
No.
is here the United States, North America?
It is in North America.
Okay.
But we
Texas?
will get more specific. It is Texas.
Okay.
Oh. We're getting topical here.
Rattlesnakes.
No, sir.
Rats.
Nope.
Roaches.
No. Not deer, not bears, not salmon.
Is it a specific location in Texas?
No.
Okay. The entire state of Texas.
Feral hogs.
Yes.
Wow. Nice. Bear just hits it. Just there it goes. Going, gone.
What do you mean disappointed in me?
Wait, Who's cursing you out, Garrett?
So the Mexican says
Raul.
that
Okay. So did Raul tune into the last time I was on? Because I'm pretty sure like I got it in the fastest time ever when it was dumpster truck.
It was
employees.
that died. It was garbage.
Garbage men,
sanitation engineers,
sanitation workers. Yeah.
Did anybody guess Niagara Falls?
I didn't see it.
No.
The salmon, Chad. Oh my gosh, brother, you're an educated man. How did you do that? When we established that had to have been before he heard Texas.
I think
I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt.
Absolutely. So with the state population of feral hogs, do you have any idea that number as of
2021? It's it's got to be probably close to 1.5 and growing, just because it's an insane nuisance in the state. It's ridiculous. I'd say 1.5. 2.6 million. Double it, Bear.
Just in Texas.
Just in Texas.
Yeah.
4.8.
Oh man.
4.8 US wide. 2.6 in Texas alone.
Yeah.
And the DNR says that in order to stay ahead of the reproduction, they would need to take 1.6 every year, and they're only able to
240,000.
Yeah.
Unreal.
They're practically giving these tours away, man. You can get a tour in a helicopter and get a machine gun and just mow them down, and they're practically giving the seats away. They don't they won't charge you. Yeah,
I know. I mean, I want to do it.
Count me in.
Do it, man. Bring your friends.
Yes.
Friends, Romans, countrymen. Lend me your ears. Lend me your sights, and take them out.
There's certain counties that will pay a bounty anywhere from $50 to $125 per head.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm in. Let's do it.
All
right. So that was this week's Número de los Muertos. All right, so let's jump into the lightning round, brought to us by our friends at J.C. Newman Cigar Company. They are America's oldest family-owned premium cigar maker, creators of the popular Brick House, Perla Del Mar, Diamond Crown, and the American. J.C. Newman Cigar Company operates out of their 112-year-old El Reloj Cigar Factory in historic Cigar City, Tampa, Florida. For more information on their cigars or their visitor experience, please visit jcnewman.com. All right. So, Barry, you've been on the show a few times, so we've got some fresh, new, I think new lightning round questions that we haven't asked you before.
Real quick, are you guys as excited about El Baton as I am? I'm just nerding out of the fact that they're redoing it.
Yes.
I'm really excited about that. So
yeah,
I know
that's going to be
real quick too. I wanted to do this at the top of the show, and we launched right into D-Day. But I want to give a special thanks to Bear, because I put out a silly little thing on Facebook a few weeks ago that was, tell me the story of how we met, except make up some shit. Which Bear took and doubled the fuck down on that.
Yes.
And wrote an amazing novella of our military and covert operations to take down some big coke dealers.
Oh, that would be an epic short film.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Bear, thank you for putting that much energy and creativity into that. I loved it so much.
Oh, it was my pleasure, man. That was a lot of fun. I was like, when you were like, make some shit up, I was like, okay, so everyone's gonna do like the perverted thing,
right?
And drop the sex jokes and and it was just like, okay. And so I just, I was like, well, make some shit up. I'm like, oh, let's go. Let's make this authentic 100% reeking bullshit and just roll with it. And it was fantastic. And
I love it.
The only 100% authentic thing about that entire story is the fact that that Garrett would always share a Don Carlos Double Robusto with me. Just saying.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
That's exactly right.
All right. So, Bear, if you could have an unlimited supply of one thing for the rest of your life, and it cannot be money or cigars,
Oh shit.
what would you choose?
Unlimited supply.
Unlimited supply.
That's a really good question. Off the top of my head, just to go, I know there's a lightning round. So baseball tickets. It's a live baseball tickets.
I
love it.
Live baseball.
That's a great answer. All right. If you were
I
suddenly
don't use beard oil, Jay. No,
Yeah.
this is 100% Bear. Like, I don't need oil. What the?
How about Henderson?
Yeah.
What would you do?
If you could have
An
unlimited
supply of anything. Can't be money or cigars.
Plane ticket.
Plane
plane
tickets.
tickets.
Yeah,
Great.
definitely for
Another
Henderson.
great
No joke.
answer.
Plane
Yes.
ticket, man.
Love it.
All right. So if you were suddenly a billionaire overnight, what would be the first unnecessary thing that you would spend some money on after you hired the tax attorney and did all the necessaries? What would be the first unnecessary thing that you would spend money on?
Billionaire?
Yes.
Buy the Boston Red Sox.
Wow, I like it.
I would buy the Boston Red Sox.
Nice.
And move into New York.
Yeah. No, get the fuck out of here. What the dude, come on. That was unnecessary. That was low.
That was below the belt.
God bless.
was out of bounds,
man.
bro.
No, I would buy the Boston Red Sox. Absolutely. There's a whole other digression of a discussion we can have about the $1 billion afterwards. But
yeah,
I want to bore our audience. But yeah, by the Boston Red Sox.
all right, Henderson. What about you? If you suddenly had $1 billion tomorrow, what would be the first thing you would blow some money on?
Money on?
Yeah.
Man,
Unnecessary thing. Like
Unnecessary. Something just for fun.
just for fun.
Yeah.
I will do a live concert like with my February artist just for me.
What's that now?
Ooh, a
Private-
live concert.
Oh,
Yeah,
private.
like, just me
Yes.
Just me there.
Nice.
Like, okay, I want this artist. I want this guy to sing for me.
Dope.
But
Nice.
sit down there. Like I want you to be talking and sing that song that I ask you.
Nice. I like it.
I love it.
I like it.
That's good.
All right, last question. The zombie apocalypse is coming.
Yes.
Who are the 3 cigar industry people that you want on your team to fight off the zombie horde?
Have you seen some of Henderson's workout videos that he posts? You know, like I mean, kind of playing to the crowd here that he's there and everything. This, gosh,
I can run fast, man.
So Henderson's out. That's what he's saying. Don't pick me. I'm just gonna outrun you, Bear. That's fair enough.
You don't have to outrun the zombie. You just have to outrun the guys you're with.
Yeah, just have to outrun Bear, which is not that difficult. So 3 cigar industry people. So Oliver Nouveau, because that guy's a marksman. He can, yeah, he's an absolute marksman. So I'm taking that. I'm taking Oliver Nouveau on Team Bear because he'll mow down some zombies for sure. So that's pick number 1. Pick number 2, I think I'd have to go with God, this one's a little bit more difficult than I thought it was going to be, interestingly enough. So Justin Andrews is my pick from Diesel Cigars in general and STG and everything. So I have this theory about Justin that he's I think he's a lot. I think first of all, I think he's brilliant, but I think he's even more brilliant than he really puts off. So I think that Justin has this secret bunker that he's got decades of water stored up and everything. This is just a theory that I've created up in my head. But he just seems like the type that is kind of like a doomsday prepper, but without being like just nuts about it. He doesn't put it out there. he just has it and everything. So I feel in this narrative that I've made up in my head, I think that Justin Andrews would be the next one. And oh man, who else would I pick from the cigar industry in zombie apocalypse? Goodness gracious.
So you have your marksman, you have your strategist.
Yeah. Oh God, there's got to be.
That's so difficult, man.
This one's a little hard.
If you don't want,
Well, I mean, Henderson was my third pick until he just said he would outrun me. So, like, I mean, that's just. I mean, it was the easy pick. Oh, man. So maybe.
do you know how to cook?
Do I? Yes, I know how to cook. I am the
You're
cook in my
I'm with
family.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Oh goodness. I'm sorry. I know this is lightning round. It's terrible. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go for laughs here. I'm gonna say Aaron Loomis because Aaron hates everything, so which means he hates zombies, and maybe they'll return the favor and just like stay away, and we'll go with that. So
I love that.
Love it.
For the zombies that Oliver doesn't mow down with his AR-15 or whatever, I'm sure just Loomis will just expound with hate, just and keep them away.
I love it. I rate that pick a 6.27.
This is gonna
That
be
was
the
great.
first one of you think to become a zombie, man. Adam. You know that?
What's that?
The Adam gonna be the first guy in the team to become a zombie together.
Who?
Adam?
Adam?
Yeah.
Adam.
That was his pick.
Oh no, Aaron Loomis.
Aaron
Loomis.
Oh
yeah.
He'll be the first one to turn.
He'll be the first one to turn into a zombie.
Oh man. Jay Davis.
Oh, good stuff. No,
All right,
that's a
Henderson, do you have a team?
Me?
Yeah. Who would be your team?
Apparently slow people, so he's picking me because he knows
Bear's one of his picks.
He can outrun me, so he's got to pick.
Who are your
You
other
want me
two
in your team
picks?
Anymore.
Oh,
You pick your team already.
you just got kicked off the team, Bear.
You pick your team already.
Who's your team?
I gotta pick Robert.
Robert Caldwell.
He's another one that hate everything.
Yeah, that's true.
This is gonna kill somebody like
Yeah.
And who's the third guy?
Well, who's your first guy?
I need to pick three or
Three.
Three.
So I'm gonna pick Robert. I'm gonna pick
Matt Booth.
I was gonna say he was in the Marines.
Matt Booth.
Yeah, it's a great pick.
Do you know he remember how to take a weapon?
Oh,
He'll
yeah.
remember. He'll remember in a hurry in the zombie apocalypse.
I think I take Matt because I took Matt for a hiking in the Dominican Republic. He made it. So
there you go.
Oh,
There you go.
so I take Dino was another crazy Michael from the Small Batch.
Oh, from
really?
Small Batch Cigar.
Yeah.
This guy. I take this guy.
Crazy.
That's three.
I like it.
all right.
Love it. All right, so let's move into this week's notable smokables, and as always, notable smokables brought to us by our friends at Ace Prime. Notable cigars, notable passion, notable purpose. So each week we name a cigar that we smoked recently that was notable to us. It could be a cigar that's been on the market for decades that we just smoked for the first time in a very long time, or it could be a cigar brand new to the market that we just smoked for the first time ever. So, Bear, what is something you smoked recently that fits that bill?
just really quick, not to backtrack too much. I'm really shocked based on Henderson's first theory of like I'm going to pick Bear so I can outrun him. Why did he not pick Ronnie, who just had knee surgery? I mean, he's definitely outrunning him. So sorry, I didn't mean to digress too much. To backtrack, but no, notable smokables, yes.
That's
So
The zombie already. Yeah.
yeah.
I've had I've had a couple of cigars that I've kind of just gone back to and stuff. I have last year I found out that they had been discontinued, so I went on a crazy buying streak of buying up as many Avo Domain 50s that I could find, 50s that I could find, and I grabbed a horde of them, and I smoked a couple in the last few weeks that have been just absolutely phenomenal. I really enjoy that cigar. It's a favorite of mine and Klaus Kellner's too. We kind of bonded over that cigar, and I had one of these earlier last week too, which was or earlier a few weeks ago, excuse me, and then I had another one slated for tonight, which is the Alec Bradley Mundial. Another one that's unfortunately not on the market anymore. Some really good cigars, but new to the market that I've really enjoyed. It's a new Vitola. I mean, it's at this point it's almost a year old, but it's a great cigar. It's another cigar that I had lined up for tonight. Potentially was the Crux Bull and Bear, the double Corona Vitola. I think they did a really good job blending for this size. I think it's absolutely. I've always liked that blend.
Yeah,
and I think they did a really good job with the double Corona. So
nice.
Those are my notable smokables.
Nice. Garrett, what about you this week?
I had La Polina Gold.
Ooh, nice.
That was so like Bear, I was sick for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And it was bronchitis. It luckily didn't get to pneumonia stage. But my first cigar trying, I didn't really enjoy it that much. And I was like, man. And then the next day I picked up a Goldie and it was fantastic. So that was my first notable out of the sick gate. That
yeah.
Do
you remember which size Goldie it was?
It was the long one.
The Lancero, the original,
not the Lancero.
Was it like the long
Lonsdale
Robusto Extra?
Yeah.
They had a Lonsdale-ish one, yeah.
I mean, it was in my humidor, so it was a Lonsdale-ish.
Okay,
I don't know what size that is, but
right on. Mine was actually the Cohiba Serie M, the new Corona Gorda size.
Okay.
I think a little better than the Toro. I believe it was the Toro that came out first. But I think there's bias on my part because that is a size that I tend to gravitate more towards, is smaller ring gauges. But I did enjoy it very much. So Henderson, we know you obviously smoke most of your own stuff, but you've been traveling a little bit right now. Have you smoked anything recently that you thought, hey, this is pretty good?
Do you know that I smoked a cigar this week? I don't even remember. It was Castagli.
Yeah.
That's a good. They make good stuff.
Someone give me a cigar of those, and it was like a Robusto side, like a Habano wrapper. It was pretty good. Yeah,
good stuff.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I was surprised about it.
Good. Yeah, good surprises are always. It's nice to find those hidden gems. So that was this week's Notable Smokables, brought to you by Ace Prime, improving lives through fine cigars. Please visit aceprime.com to learn more. So to give our viewers and listeners an idea of stuff we have coming up in the next few weeks, next week we should be having a special mystery guest on the show, and you will absolutely not want to miss it. We're going to have some special reveals on that show next week, so don't miss the 13th show. And then on the 20th, another show you absolutely don't want to miss. We have our good friend Ricky Rodriguez, who has a brand new venture starting up called West Tampa Tobacco Company. I'm very excited to get to learn from him about how this all got started and what he, what they want to turn this into, because it's an exciting new project. Absolutely. And then at the end of June, we're actually going to have a special Tuesday night show on the 28th of June. And we're going to talk to Omar De Frias from Fratello Cigars. So Bear, if you would please give our viewers and listeners an idea, where is the best place for them to keep up with El Oso Fumar?
Well, thank you for that. Really great shows on the Come For You guys. I'm excited about the mystery show. That's going to be cool. Omar's a great interview. You're going to have a great time with him. He's always a hoot. But for me, you can find out, you can tune in every Sunday night for a show live at 9:30 Central on Sunday. And it's on my Facebook page, El Oso Fumar. So you can hit that like button. We also have a YouTube channel, El Oso Fumar. You can hit the subscribe. You can also tune in wherever you listen to podcasts. It's hashtag El Oso Fumar Takes. And you can find us on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, or wherever you listen to podcasts. So.
Very nice. And who, if I may ask, is your next upcoming guest on your show?
So we've got a slate of couple of shows going in. I'm actually next week. We did this a while back, but I'm doing it again. I'm basically I'm lending my time slot, and I'm going to be part of the Cigar Coop Coalition. We're going to do the Smoking Syndicate Roundtable.
Nice.
With Aaron Nielsen, not to be confused with Aaron Loomis. Aaron Nielsen likes things. William Cooper and Ben Lee on the Smoking Syndicate. That's Ben's brand under the Cigar Coop Coalition umbrella.
Yeah.
And so we'll be reviewing the newest H. Upman heritage. So we're really excited about that. And the following week, we've got a couple of different shows lined up for you. We're going to have some fantastic guests for you. My Father's Day episode, which I do every year and has been a great tradition. This will be our third year doing it. We're welcoming back Tom Lazuka of Asylum Cigars, and Oliver Nouveau will be the co-guest. And so we'll be talking. They actually have they did a collaboration this year. We'll be talking about that. But all three of us are fathers, so we'll be celebrating Father's Day together and talking about our kids, what it means to be a father, and cigars, and we'll be enjoying a good conversation and things like that. And then Cigar Hustler Mike Stevankevich will be my guest on the 26th.
Nice.
So those are the next few weeks on the show.
Fantastic. Well, Bear, we can't thank you enough. We love having you as a guest as always, and thanks again for being part of episode 161.
Pleasure is mine, gentlemen. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
A loss of more.
All right, viewers and listeners, guys, thank you so much for watching live on Facebook and YouTube tonight. If you would please take just a moment and subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the Facebook page. Make sure to follow us on all social media at HBT Cigar. And of course, until we see you guys next time, burn cigars,
not bridges.
See you guys. Thanks.
See you guys.